Millions of years ago, these forests were once part of mainland Asia. But an ancient separation occurred. Earth movements violently reshaped the land. The oceans rose, and the islands of the Indonesian archipelago were formed. But of all the islands, one is special. Sumatra is home to a unique relative of the Asian elephant. This is the Sumatran elephant. Once, these ancient giants were revered, worshipped by Hindus and Buddhists alike. But today, these noble creatures no longer hold the status of a god, for time and space is running out for the elephants. To save these lords of the forest from extinction, a new relationship is evolving between man and beast. The Sumatran elephant lives nowhere else in the world. 1 ton lighter than their mainland relatives, they're the smallest of all the elephants. Domed heads and small ears are a sign of their Asian origins. Only the bulls carry tusks. Bulls are normally loners. It's the cows and their young that live together in a herd, led by the most experienced female. Most of an elephant's time is taken up with eating. Each adult needs at least 300 pounds of food a day. But there is now no longer enough land to support the elephant's giant appetites. Today, only 3,000 Sumatran elephants survive, their ancestral home vanishing as cropland invades into the forest. Once, Sumatra was sparsely populated. But over the last 20 years, it's been witness to an astonishing human migration. Over 5 million people have been moved to Sumatra from some of Indonesia's most severely overcrowded islands. Each family is given 5 acres of land and a new home. It's a program that's working well for Indonesia's population problems, but it's a disaster for Sumatra's wildlife. Many elephants are now trapped in isolated pockets of forest surrounded by farmland. In the south, the conflict between man and animal is at its worst. The elephants must eat, and so must the people. It's a battle of ownership that has literally become a war. The sweet corn is nearly ripe. Now, every night, the farmers must guard their crops from the threat of a raid. The night's damage is serious. Farmer Binney and his family have lost nearly an acre of corn, some 20% of their yearly income. Raids in the farming area of Mesuji in South Sumatra occur nearly every day. But it wasn't only the farmers' crops that were destroyed during the night's raid. The elephants also invaded the village.
When I heard the elephants were coming last night, I just took my children and ran. People have already been killed by the elephants. I just feel really frightened for the safety of my family. And this morning, when I saw the damage to our house and the crops ruined, I just don't know what to do. How can we survive if all that we've worked for is destroyed?
The conflict is so serious that the Indonesian government had to intervene to help both the villagers and the elephants. A permanent sanctuary had to be found, and a national park was created for Sumatra's elephants. "500 square miles of lush swampland and forest, Waikambas National Park is now the only refuge left for South Sumatra's wildlife. But Waikambas is too small for all the elephants in the area. It was decided to relearn an ancient tradition, to teach some of the raiders to work with man. Under the expert guidance of Thai trainers, in this big Thai elephant, Tombe, Indonesia's first elephant training center was set up in the park. Now, more than 80 of the smaller Sumatran elephants and their trainers, or pawangs, have been taught the skills of their ancestors.
What will happen with the elephant if we don't have a center like what we have here in Waikambas is that I believe it is grim future for the elephants. We have to look back 6-7 years ago when there are still a lot of people poaching elephant, poisoning elephant because they merely think that elephant is only their enemy. Elephant can act as umbrella species. If we take care of elephant, it means that we take care of hundreds of other species using the habitat which is being used by elephant itself.
Ambassadors for their species, the working elephants are helping to improve the image of their wild relatives. There are plans to send elephants, like this female Umri, to work with the farmers whose crops she once destroyed. First, both elephant and man must learn to work together. This is the first time Umri's had her new pawang on her back, and it's the start of a lifelong partnership. Nazar was the first Indonesian to be trained by the Thais. He's now Waikambas's most experienced local pawang.
I am Nazar. I am a pawang from the Elephant Training Center at Waikambas, and this is my elephant Sentong. He is a good elephant, and I love him very much. Once, when we were in the forest capturing wild elephants, I fell off him. It was very dangerous, and Sentong protected me from the wild elephants, and when they'd gone, he carried me home. We're never separated. If there are 3 days of holiday, we miss each other very much, and then nobody can touch him. I miss Sentong, and Sentong misses me, so we really have a good relationship.
Elephants are very intelligent and learn quickly. Santong has learned to respond to a combination of pressure points on his body and voice commands. He can understand over 60 spoken instructions from Nazar. Good teamwork takes practice, and the elephant slalom helps develop fine coordination. It's a very special relationship that's already saved Nazar's life. And that careful control is all important when capturing wild elephant. The farmers of Misuji have asked the Way Kambas team to help solve their worsening conflict with raiding elephants. The only way to capture wild elephants is with trained ones. It's dangerous work, and only the most experienced elephants and their trainers will go. The team, led by the big Thai elephant, Tombe, are greeted with a hero's welcome. Before the capture can begin, the Pawangs must make their peace with the forest gods and pray for a safe capture. The people never imagined that elephants could actually help them. That men can overcome their fear of these giants is even more extraordinary. A herd has raided more sweet corn during the night, and the team know where they were last seen. From now on, stealth and cool nerves are all important. If all goes well, they hope to catch at least 5 elephants. Using a traditional lasso, a young female is caught. It's pure chance which elephants are captured, but the younger the animal, the easier it is to train. She is confused. She knows something is wrong, but reassured by the presence and touch of Tombe and Samtong, she stays calm. Only when the young female is firmly tied up and the working elephant have left her side does she realize her freedom is lost. Such drastic measures are necessary to resolve South Sumatra's elephant dilemma. One month has passed since the young female, now named Jacka, was caught. It's time for her training to begin. She's only 6 years old, but dangerous to handle without the working elephant's help. Tombe gently nudges the youngster into position, calming her with his presence. Before the training starts, the Pawangs pray she will be a good elephant. The first lesson Jaka must learn is to lift her feet. All the time, the Pawangs reassure her. She is doing well. Elephant training is as old as recorded time. In 6 months, Jaka will have learned the basic skills to work with man. Water is the elephant's second home. And at the end of a hard day's work, there's nothing an elephant likes more than bath time. It's a very important daily ritual that reinforces the bond between Pawang and elephant. Protecting more land is the only way these magnificent creatures can be assured of a long-term future. But here in the Way Kambas Park, at least 200 wild elephants have found sanctuary. Something has startled the herd. The big bull has detected man. The tourists are lucky to see wild elephants, which are normally hidden by dense forest. Nature tourism is a new development for the center, and what better way to see Way Kambas than on an elephant? Most of the visitors are locals, but recently travelers from further afield have discovered the park. This is the first time this Indonesian family has ever ventured into a forest. Changing people's attitudes to appreciate the elephant and its environment is a key part of the center's work. Slowly, the Indonesian people are learning to value their wildlife. Though the training center's work is still in its infancy, elephant and man are starting to work together as a team. Argus and Toulouse are the first elephants to leave the center. Their phenomenal strength and sensitivity makes them excellent workers. Argus can push over a ton of timber, and wherever the elephants work, their pawangs will always be with them. Though it's ironic, these elephants are clearing the land that could have been their home. The virgin forest that once grew here disappeared long ago. This area is being cleared again to plant fast-growing trees. And a working elephant is far less damaging to the land than modern machinery. Though Argus and Toulouse have lost their freedom, their sacrifice is slowly helping to ease the conflict between man and beast. The implications of Sumatra's elephant dilemma are still serious. The rekindling of the ancient art of elephant training is one step towards the long-term protection of these magnificent creatures. The preservation of Sumatra's wild land will ensure these lords of the forest have a permanent future in Indonesia.
And tomorrow at the same time, we home in on the bison of Yellowstone Park.